Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. Welcome to a Creative Bundle demo where I use the Creative Flow and Run the Flow add-ons to create some interesting stuff. So I'm going to make the Mothership, as alien Mothership that I made and posted on Instagram and Twitter. So I'm going to remake that. But first, we're going to build the base mesh using Creative Flow. So z-axis and y-axis, and control mouse drag to increase the thickness. I'm going to get rid of this since I only used it to draw this thing, and straighten this out. Okay, and apply mesh. Now this becomes a real mesh, and let's see auto smooth. Okay, so re-establishing the mirror uh, in the y and z axis. So the x-axis is going to be asymmetrical, and let's start Boolean, Boolean and drawing. So for this type of render, this is going to be rendered probably mid-range, and if you this could be rendered somewhat closely, but you need to really make sure that the details, the gribbles are make sense on closer renders. Let's try and extract this. No. Okay. Um let's try and draw something instead. No wait. Extract B. So B to deactivate actually this could work. B to deactivate the boolean. Let's try this thing. Um get rid of these faces here. See on see on the open space to uh place the marker on the origin center of the active object. Let's try and make the base for the beginnings of the geometry to support the the thrusters, the big thrusters. So with this thing, probably add it here and get rid of the y-axis so it doesn't create an overlap between the two Boolean objects. And I'm not quite sure how to do the. You know what? Let's just draw. Let's just draw, and if it um, doesn't look right, we'll just delete it. A B to deactivate Boolean. And oh, it didn't join at the center line. There we go. So do the transformations in edit mode so you don't disturb the symmetry. In object mode, you can see that everything moves. Okay, we have the um, thrusters. So X, now Y is A, and Shift Z to switch the real geometry on the top side. Whoops. Okay, Boolean. That, there we go. So, and also try and draw something here. Get rid of the Z axis. Press 1 to activate. So this is, don't adjust this. Simplify thickness. There we go. Okay, so we have our base and we need to add more shapes for this. Actually, we can add the shapes as we go along. Let's try this. Shift, or we can add the shapes as we go along. Shift tab, P, Z, um, no modifiers, solidify thickness. There we go. Probably too big. Remove boolean. And let's just focus on this part here. You don't have to boolean everything. Uh, Sometimes you can just leave it as a separate geometry. The yeah. And extract faces here. One. So you also need to have simple grasp of in-gun topology and how to repair them. So don't go around actually tries and in-guns are just a means to an end. So uh, don't go around saying that in-guns are the enemy and all that stuff. Quads is friends. That's not really the case. Okay, so they're all your friends. So actually, when I was studying, when I was practicing topology, I found that using try and in-guns makes me better. Makes it easier to actually quantify stuff. Okay, so hey, what's this dude here? Oh, it's the this one, but it doesn't have any use anymore. So let's just delete that. Whoops. Let's save this mothership. Spaceship 2. Just in case it crashes. X. Okay, Y. No, probably not. Okay, select everything or every type mesh and apply mesh. This also applies the boolean. And re-establish the mirror. Select everything. So auto mirror works on multiple objects. So Y and Z. Really convenient. Okay, now let's try to quantify this or work on this area first. One slice 0.01. Actually, let's okay, get rid of this and get rid of this. So I'm making sure that there's no try. So the subdivision could still work with tries, but it's better not to it's better not to have those lying around because of the whoops. Okay, let's work on this. So with this surface, I'm probably going to use just use the Control T, Alt J, and degrees to 180. Same here, Control T, triangulate, and then Alt J to quantify. Oh, so there we have our tiny. What is that? Okay, let's fix this first. Move it here and get rid of the doubles. And get rid of this. Okay. Okay, let's try it. This surface, and this. Probably this one too. Linked flat faces. Let's try and include this. This as well. Random panels. So get rid of the symmetry line. So at the start, we're going to use big shapes or big paneling, then use another paneling on on the resulting panel. Use another paneling. Um, Use another paneling for that, but the details will be smaller. So right now we're going to look for uh, Something that makes sense. Okay, this one here, why did the topology bend like that? Yeah, let's. Oh, because of this one here, probably just going to introduce. What? Let's try and introduce the triangle. Linked flood faces. Okay, so as you like you've seen there, that I know the how the topology will react with the add-on, so I fixed that. So it comes with experience. If you want to practice topology, you can do use your anything in your house that you could grab or touch. And I think it's better than using reference pictures because you can actually touch it. So for basic stuff, practice with a cup, and other canisters you can find in the house, forks, spoons, plates, and pretty soon you will have the topology eyes. When you look at certain objects, you can already your mind is already picturing the topology that surrounds the object. So let's try with this one. And ooh, there we go. That's not. I hope that's not gonna cause any problems. Okay. Uh, draw object is our base, and let's try the surface here. Okay, that's good. And let's layer in the coplanar, coplanar. Okay, random panels. Begin with zero subdivision and just slowly make your way up. I'm going to use number instead of percent. And just play with the details there here. So this is actually you can go by stages. You can actually just use this result again to layer in a much smaller panel detail. Okay, so we can actually just use the inner and do the cycle strict that I've shown in my past video on how to make it look like this is a part of the mesh underneath. Actually, we can go with this. And when you clear the interfaces or keep the interfaces, I mean, so this is what you're left at, just the final cuts. And you can actually bake that. I've used subdivision. Let's try recursive sampling. So for something like this, something in recursive seems too chaotic. So I'll just use radial. I will have I have plans for radial as well to make this um this for now it looks it's actually just a square, just that's going larger. that goes bigger as you increase the panel size. But in the future, I'd like it to have other influences as well, like shortest path and longest path, to make it longer on one edge and shorter on one edge like that. So you can make it a rectangle, and a rectangle on that's going to that you can control the direction. Okay, should we go with this? Yeah, I think we should go with full geometry. And whoa, let's delete that and restart. So this is not, let's delete this. So it will subdivide. And reestablish the cut to make it quads, and so it will the subdivision in the script will work. Hopefully everything is nope, it's not quad. Okay, J 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. Let's try it again. Let's mark this as sharp. So the okay, mark sharp. So the topology, the face islands will not wrap in that area, and it will cause a split. There we go. Probably use number here as well to make it smaller. Let's try 20. So this is more exact, like 20 faces per island, whereas percentage, of course, is faster, but it won't be as small as, let's say, using the panel size number method. And so let's so I'm trying to gauge it at a distance. So I'm trying to find shapes that breaks the outer and inner spaces. So this is not multiplying. This is not subdividing because it's in gone. So I have to fix that as well. Control T, Alt J, and then reselect the faces. There we go. We have subdivision right here. And let's try and increase the inset. So basically, I'm just looking for noise in the shapes that makes sense. I think we could go with this. So if it doesn't pan out in texturing or in render, we can just delete it. Actually, let's try this one. Y Z X Y Z X. Look at that. So I've changed this to make it. When I pass the updates, I'm going to explain what this does. So right now, I made it simpler to explain for me and for you to understand. Okay, and let's try and focus on other areas. Right here, Control T, Alt J. Doesn't work like that. Okay, quad slice, project. Actually, we can let's try this. Oops. Leave flat faces. Okay, let's not include this area. So we get geometry here. That's this part is not subdividing because it's an in-gun. So just a quick quad slice. Don't worry about the distortion. Okay, let's try and where's the distortion happening? Let's try split. So instead of wrapping or the face island wrapping on sharp corners, it's going to split. This is too small. So let's try and reduce the, there we go. Reestablish wrap and find out where the distortions are happening. So this is where the distortions are happening. So let's try and mark sharp this and this as well. And also this part. There we go. So we have some shapes here with the addition of textures later on. These things will hardly be noticeable. What is this? With oops, quad slice and quad slice. Oops, quad slice. What is this? Okay, so creating noise. So I'm going to use shadow later on to hide some stuff here. Kind of introduce a mystery and then a few lights. Um, Basically, trying to hide stuff some of the stuff that are too obvious or doesn't make sense, and then exposing the stuff that does make sense. Let's try 22. 50. 0.05, 0.04, raw object, Control T, Alt J. What is this? Oh, Random panels, big shapes first, and then another layer, and this time the smaller shapes. There we go. Same here as well. Maybe we could use random loop here instead. Try and play around with the subdivision. In the lower subdivision, then slowly bring it up to so you can get a feel if your machine could actually handle the increased subdivision or the next subdivision. Let's go to percentage. Actually, this one doesn't been touched. And this one as well. Okay. Control T, Alt J. Playing flat faces. Oops. Let's stop it here and make this a quad. Make this a quad as well. Whoops. %. Oops. Let's introduce more noise to this. Okay. Coplanar and coplanar. Random panels. Let's begin at 0 cuts. Okay. And let's get rid of geometry. So we're basically using the random panels to create noise like this, but it's causing distortion on some really tight areas. So we'll just have to play with the panel set until, whoa. So this area here, maybe I can use this instead. Go planar, go planar. So the name of this is draw object R panel, Alt H, draw object R panel. So that's the one underneath. And let's just increase the depth. Increase the subdivision cuts. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is deleting islands, and I inverted it so the larger islands gets deleted first, and then the smaller islands remain to create the noise, the geometric noise. $15. Okay, so what is this? For object. Oh, let's forgo. Okay, let's. I'm going to borrow the shader. So append. I'm going to borrow a shader from the previous file and modify date, material. Which of these two? Okay. Oh, let's try and that I think that material is using vertex color, so I'm going to use vertex color. Okay. So let's try and focus on this area and let's see how it looks like with textures. So the tiniest detail is using a texture. I'm using J's placement, but actually you can create your own J's placement like texture using random flow by um, using it on a plane. Then the result of that, you can bake it and then use it for something like surface detail. Like I'm using J's placement here. So geometry wise, there's primary shape is with geometry, secondary shape is geometry, some noise introduced on the tertiary level, tertiary shape by geometry, and then the rest is textures. The rest of the tiny details are textures. So let's try and look at this part here. Let's use this. And introduce, don't use vertex color, shader, and emission, just a simple emission shade. So she can see the geometry looks different when textured. So you need to also visualize that when you're randomizing the geometry you need for your concept art. Um, by the way, you can save this and then you can reuse it over and over again with in your projects. You can render it. You can render it as far as that mid range and even close range. If you can draw along with 3D skill, you can overlay your painting on top of this 3D object. Then, of course, it will increase the believability of this even in close renders. Let's try and increase the lights. Okay, so that is it for this video. And okay, before we move on, we can actually, I hope it doesn't crash, join this into a single object using join objects. So join it in draw object. Okay, this is now a single object, which makes it more manageable as a kit bash asset. But you can still every piece of the object that was before has been assigned as vertex group. So you can use split mesh on this object to split it back again into multiple pieces. There we go. So that's how you can merge objects. I will do a tutorial for this um, later on because this is different. This is using Boolean to actually merge the objects. So this is a much stronger operator. So join and split mesh. They are they work on them. So this is now a single object, and you can easily duplicate it now. Okay, so that's it for this video. And if you have any questions, be sure to use the comment sections or the links in the description. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.